Chapter 8 Gohan's Fight. Gohan flew south of Kantala since there was nothing but open fields and a few trees. It was to make sure no point would get in the way. He sensed for any energies that were around and discovered there weren't any. He was prepared for the battle, which he would be fighting alone. Looking back, he could see the galaxy soldiers were following close behind him. He would be lying to himself if he said he wasn't nervous, seeing as how he had to fight 5 powerful warriors and do it alone. In spite of a bit of nervousness, he also felt confident. He had gone up against powerful opponents all his life, and things had usually worked out. Those thoughts lingered in his mind for only a few moments before he pushed them away. It was now time to focus. Once he was far enough away, he turned back towards his foes. It was now or never. His eyes journeyed between each opponent before they settled on Kogu, who was rushing ahead of the others. The Saint saw an energy ball heading his way, but he easily deflected it. Wasting no time, he charged at the alien and punched him in the gut, making him retch up bile and spit. Before he could land in another blow, Biden moved right in front of him, cutting off his path. The half-Sang was caught off guard, and unable to block the kick that sent him crashing into the earth. As Gohan got to his feet, he was assaulted by the 2 space pirates. He was holding them off for a while until Bujin flew over and punched him in the face. The impact sent him flying towards a nearby mountain. Using his energy, he stopped himself from crashing into rock formation. His eye came to life as he ascended high into the air, only to have the same 3 henchmen charge at him. This time he was ready for them. In an instant, the 4 of them collided and began exchanging blows back and forth. The Super Saiyan was doing his best, but fending all 3 of them off at once was by no means easy. This continued for several moments before his defenses were broken, all thanks to a kick to the gut by the festive alien. This left him vulnerable to an elbow to his back, courtesy of Kogu. The 4 sent him to the ground once again. The young Saiyan got back to his feet and did several backflips, getting out of the way of an energy ball because of it. Gohan stopped and landed on his feet. He then turned around and blocked a kick from Kogu. The Super Saiyan retaliated by kicking him in the face, launching him into the air. As he went to pursue, he was blindsided again by the festive alien, and was probably decked in the face. He was able to stop himself from once again almost crushing into a mountain. He then flew up into the air, trying to find where the other soldiers were. Bujin answered the unknown question by kneeing his enemy square in the gut. A slight chuckle escaped his lips as seeing the young warrior hunched over in pain. His smirk grew as the short alien cupped his hands together and slapped him onto the back of his foe. He watched his opponent crushing the ground at super speeds, making not only a big crater but also a cloud of smoke. Though he couldn't see, he knew his opponent was in pain. A few seconds later, the rest of the galaxy soldiers came flying toward their partner. After taking a moment to enjoy destruction, they dashed towards the smoke, not wanting to let their enemy recover. Once they were close enough, they were all blown away by a huge explosion of energy. It took them a few moments to recover, and as soon as they did, they noticed a big golden light. Every pony had been watching the battle with pure astonishment. They were all amazed at how well Gohan was holding his own. They had never seen anything like it before. The fight was very fast-paced. In fact, they were all a little surprised that they could see anything at all. The two looked like blurs colliding to one another, although they could occasionally see who was fighting. That only lasted a few brief moments before the fight finished. "I can't believe how fast Gohan is," Spike noticed. He turned towards his friends, who were staring intently at the crystal ball. Their eyes were glued to the action, and they were unable to turn away. They watched their Saiyan friend try blows with the sword-wielding alien, and it was kind of hard to watch. Not because of the fighting, but because of how fast they were doing it. "Wow, look at him go!" Rainbow Dash exclaimed. She was just nervous that all of that hard work he did seriously paid off. "Maybe, but the odds are against him. It is quite unfair," Reddy stated. "Don't worry, girls. I'm sure he can handle it," Princess Leia said while trying not to feel nervous. If he could beat Cell, then surely he could beat these pirates. Everyone else was unsure if Gohan would be able to do this. Sure, he had power and was holding it down, but he had to fight off 5 people at once. Well, so far it was only 4. Flasha was the most concerned of every pony. She didn't want to see Gohan getting hurt. He was her friend and she couldn't bear the thought of him getting seriously injured. "Please be alright, Gohan," she thought to herself. "He sure is giving that guy a licking," Applejack observed as the Super Saiyan landed several quick punches to Kogu's chest, finishing the combo with a point-blank energy ball. "It still feels wrong to just stand here and not help him," the purple alicorn added. To her, it didn't feel right having some pony else fighting for the fate of while she just sat around. Of course, she doubt there was much she could do to help, but it still felt wrong. "I know, but this is for the best." In a way, Princess Celestia was right. If they did go down there, Gohan would have to worry about protecting them instead of fighting Bojack. And if the Crusher was going to survive, the Saiyan needed all the folks he could get. So for now, they set was cheering him on from the sidelines. The Super Saiyan found himself surrounded by the galaxy's soldiers, unable to escape. He was getting attacked on all sides, which put him constantly on edge. Gohan tried his best to both dodge and attack all of them, but it was proving to be more and more difficult. He had been doing well so far, but a kick from the female pilot launched him to the ground. He got back up only to be punched in the face by Bushin, sending him flying back several feet. The young Saiyan reoriented himself and instantly flew into the air, hoping he could put some distance between him and them. He quickly glanced behind himself and saw the aliens were hot on his tail. Thinking quickly, the Saiyan began charging up energy within his palms, waiting for the right moment to launch them at his foes. As the pirates neared him, he threw a ki blast, making them scatter. Seeing his opportunity, they have Saiyan's face out of sight, reappearing next to Bido. In one swift motion, he kneed the alien jaw and then socked him square in the nose. The force beyond the hit sent his foe plummeting to the ground below. Gohan had no time to celebrate as Goku suddenly came into view, with a murderous look in his eyes. Reacting quickly, the young fighter crossed his arms to defense, blocking the fist that was headed for his face. He then reeled his leg back, intending to kick the alien. Sangia was nearby and saw an opportunity, so she flew over and grabbed his leg. Sprawling devilish grin, she out the Saiyan in the spine, making him bend backwards crying in pain. Following her example, Goku brought his knee up to the warrior's gut. He snickered upon hearing his cries of pain. Just when it looked like he was going to escape, Bushin came flying downwards, planting a kick onto their foe's head. With their combined effort, they forced him into the ground. Blast him! The sword-wielding alien shouted as his opponents each fired an energy ball at the ground, creating a huge explosion and an even bigger dust cloud. They all waited for their opponent to get back up, but it seemed like he was defeated. Bido rejoined his comrades as they all began laughing. The factor had seemed to be assured. Watching from afar was Bojack, who had thus far chosen to stay out of the fray. He preferred to let his underlings handle his dirty work. He usually only stepped in when it was absolutely necessary, or when he wanted to have some fun. And from the looks of the fight, it didn't seem like he would need to step in. But the kid did get a few blows in, so perhaps he would have to get his hands dirty. For not that he would choose to watch the mayhem from afar. His level of skill is more advanced than I hoped. This should be fun, the space pirate said with a smirk. The group of opponents all watching the fierce Gohan was still lying on the ground, not getting up. They didn't know how long he was down for, and didn't know when he would return for the fight. If he didn't return, well, no point wanted to think about that. This isn't good. I think it might be over, Twilight noted in fear. Gohan, Flushing murmured as tears filled her eyes. It was never easy to watch a friend get hurt, and it hurt even more that she couldn't do anything to help. What do we do now, Princess Celestia? Piggy asked, eating another hooful of popcorn. We get ready to defend ourselves, the princess exclaimed. Her answer made the others worried. Do you really think we fight those guys? The Earth Pony asked. It's the only option we have, she answered plainly. They were all worried. If their superpowered friend couldn't beat them, then what chance did they have? It was then that the pink pony noticed something hopping within the crystal ball. Look! She shouted, pointing towards the ball. Every pony gathered around a bit, but couldn't see anything. After a few moments, they could all see a huge golden light, and the source of light was coming from their friend. They watched as Gohan flew back in the air towards his foes. Parts of his own shirt were destroyed, and his pants had some holes in them. His body now had few scars and bruises. Despite his injuries, the young Saiyan looked more than ready for round 2. Yeah, go Gohan! They all shouted. Pinkie Pie put a meat flag out of nowhere with Gohan written on it. She then waved him around wildly, hoping they wouldn't help him out in some way. I am not giving up, and I won't let you take this planet! The Super Saiyan shouted as he closed the gap between him and the festive alien. He could see Bido cocking his fist back, hoping to land a punch. Seeing this coming, he moved to the right, dodging the fist. The half-Saiyan countered that with a kick to the ribs, flashing his opponent in the opposite direction. Although he had taken out one of them, there was still more opponents to deal with, which became evident when a boot struck his spine. The young Saiyan quickly turned around and ducked right under the horizontal sword slash aimed for his head. Despite the close call, he remained focused. Goku sheathed his blade and threw around his kick at his foe, only for it to be evaded with ease. The alien gritted his teeth as he followed with even more punches and kicks. Unfortunately, his attacks were either dodged or blocked, making him even angrier. Due to his anger, his fighting was getting more and more sloppy, giving his opponent plenty of openings. A quick jump to his stomach stopped all of his momentum, and a well-placed kick forced him into the ground. Sanky and Bushin flew at high speed toward their target, confident that they could overwhelm him. The duo started attacking him at the same time, flagging him on both sides. Even with them slightly greater numbers, their foe was holding his own. They were evenly matched. Neither warrior had any kind of advantage. Eventually, their foe vanished from the skirmish, leaving the aliens confused. Butcher felt something touch his leg, and he glanced behind him and noticed a Super Saiyan. He barely had time to react as he was thrown at his partner, making both of them soar through the air. The half Saiyan flew down and fired several energy blasts at the now recovering Beidou. As he closed in for a frontal assault, he found himself trapped by an unknown force. It was as if he flew into an invisible net. Gohan struggled to escape but couldn't. He was completely stuck. He could also feel his energy starting to drain a bit, a sensation that worried him greatly. He could see the vast alien holding his hands out in front of him, and he could just barely make out what looked like a purple static. What's he doing to me? Sorry, little man, but you're not going anywhere. No one's capable of escaping from my barrier. Beidou grinned. Following up with his lead, his three teammates flew over toward their ensnared opponent. The three of them then began attacking relentlessly, finding any open spot in his body to strike. The sound of fists and boots striking against their opponent's body through the air. They all smirked at the pain they were causing, and the screams of the ensnared foe made their grins even bigger. Suddenly, Bojack appeared with the Super Saiyan and fired a point-blank energy ball at his chest. He sent his foe flying to the tree, breaking said tree on impact. I admire his effort, but I'm afraid it is in vain, he noted in a cocky tone, making his henchmen laugh. Gohan slowly got up and quickly found himself in the receiving end of another attack. The Super Saiyan was being hit by energy blasts, as small and as precise as sniper bullets. The beams hit him like bee stings that brought him to his knees. While on the ground, he struggled to maintain Super Saiyan form, but it was proving to be difficult. I'll take it from here. I want to send him to the other world myself, Bojack said as he flew towards his foe. In a matter of seconds, he closed the gap between them, and he wasn't going to give his foe any recovery time. He began pummeling the son of Goku and showed no signs of letting up. His intensity and power were more than enough to overwhelm his opponent. The space pirate finished his combo by kneeing the young warrior in the gut, and then ramming his elbow into his back. The young Super Saiyan was sent plummeting towards the ground. He managed to stop himself from crashing, but was unable to stop the space pirate from planting both feet onto his back. Screams of pain escaped the Saiyan's mouth as the gigantic tyrant jumped up and down onto his back. If he were able to turn his head, he would have seen a devilish grin on the pirate's face. From a distance, his henchmen were watching the show, all the while smirking themselves. The master's having no difficulty at all, Beidou noted. What did you expect? No one can send it to Master Bojack, Sanka admired. Bojack lifted the young warrior up and punched him in the face. The impact sent him flying backwards. He wasted no time pursuing his foe. Once he was close enough, he threw a punch, but he didn't hit anything. One moment his opponent was there, and the next he was gone. Where did he go? He yelled angrily as he searched for his foe. Not a second later, he saw the bread hand in his way. The Super Saiyan flew at full speed towards his opponent and delivered a kick to his face. The kick sent the alien skidding across the ground, parting the earth underneath in the process. He followed that up by putting his hands together across his forehead, making a huge golden light appear. Masenko! Ha! He shouted as his signature attack burst from his hands. The huge golden beam traveled across the battlefield and quickly connected with his foe, creating a huge explosion. Once the explosion started, there was only a thick cloud of smoke and dust. The Super Saiyan took a moment to catch his breath. He had put a good amount of power into that attack, and although the single impacted punch, it still was enough to finish his foe. The space pirate flew out the smoke, now seething with rage. Sure, he was strong enough to survive the attack, but it did hurt him. As he drew closer, he noticed his foe drop down into a fighting stance. As the gap between them closed, they both went on the offensive, throwing punches and kicks at blinding speeds. Shockwaves pierced the air as their blows met. They're moving so fast I can barely see them, Ramjas exclaimed, feeling a little jealous of their speed. The Pegasus prided herself on her speed, and watching this battle just threw her pride out the window. To make matters worse, fear was also starting to creep in, which was something that she never really felt before. Of course, there were times when she was afraid, but this was on a whole other level. Her fate, as well as everybody else, was on the line. Look at them go, Rarity stated. Everybody had their eyes glued to the ball. Not one to miss even a second of the action. The gaps from the space pirate evaded an uncommon kick, giving him the upper hand. Their friend was soon grabbed by the collar and was relentlessly pummeled by the alien. It wasn't the sight they ever wanted to see. Gohan is in trouble! The pup alien screamed. Come on, we need to help him! Sammy was more than ready to go over and help her friend. Even she couldn't do much, she still wanted to help. No, we need to stay here. Princess Leia stopped her for emphasis. But Princess, if we don't do so, Gohan's going to get killed. Abject exclaimed. Hearing that made nearly the shy pony faint. She didn't even want to think about that possibility. It was already bad enough that he was fighting for five scary aliens by himself. If he were to die, well, again, she didn't want to think about it. He can take care of himself. We just need to be patient, the princess told them. And truly she was worried for his safety, but she knew how strong he was. She had confidence that Gohan could and would win the battle. All they could do for him was cheer him on and pray for his safety. I'm still not sure about this, Spike stated, worry evident in his voice. Please, Gohan. You have to do this, Fleischer said in a sad tone. Come on, Gohan. I know you can do this, Celestia thought to herself. Bojack had to admit that the kid was pretty skilled, more so than he originally thought. But the space pirate wasn't worried at all. He clearly had the upper hand. That may have been helped by the fact that his foe was both injured and tired, and they had 4 powerful allies backing him up. Taking advantage of that, the alien socked his opponent in the jaw, sending him into the mountainside. He wouldn't let the sand simply crash, so he fired an energy beam. The beam struck his foe, making crashing the mountain quicker. The space pirate flew over the power rubble and grabbed his young opponent, noticing that his hair had changed back to black. He gave him a punch to the gut before tossing him on the ground, all the while laughing to himself. The young hero struggled to get to his feet. His own shirt was completely gone, his pants were even more torn, and his blue shirt had some holes and rips in it. Once he stood back up, he transformed back into a Super Saiyan. He then charged his foe, ready for yet another round. The Super Saiyan unleashed a flurry of blows on his opponent, but his foe was doing the exact same thing. Although they started out evenly matched, the Saiyan was quickly winning the struggle. Gohan kicked Bojack in the stomach and then in the chin, sending him backwards. A golden aura enveloped his body as he pursued his flying foe. When he was within range, he let loose a flurry of punches to his chest. Gohan then brought his fists together and stamped into the back of his foe, lunging him to the ground. Ah! He shouted as he fired a barrage of energy blasts at his downed opponent. Seeing their master in trouble, the Galaxy soldiers flew over to help. Sankia was the first to attack, and she planted a kick right into Saiyan's back. Baido grabbed his head and slammed it to the ground. The faster alien didn't give his foe any time to recover, and he punched him square in the nose as soon as he got up. The female pirate appeared behind the young warrior and kicked him into the air. Bujin continued the assault by firing key blasts to his foe's chest, sending him straight into Koju. Said alien elbowed the warrior into the back of the head. He then grabbed him by the foot and tossed him into the earth. The downed Bojack got up and re-entered the fray. He flew towards the opponent had landed. The space pirate once again grabbed him by the shirt, grinning as he did so. He then headbutted him several times, making his forehead start to bleed. He then released him and struck him in the back of the head, quickly propelling him to the ground. An evil grin came onto his face as he landed into the air and forcefully landed on his opponent, making him not only scream in pain but also cough up blood. He repeated this pulse a few times before setting foot next to his foe. I was expecting more from Goku's son, but I guess you aren't as powerful as I thought. He smiled as he picked up his prey by his neck. He kneed him in the face and then flew over from a nearby mountain, slamming him into it at high speeds. All the Galaxy soldiers watched as their opponent slowly dug his way out of the rubble. Yet, even after freeing himself, he collapsed on the ground, and his gold hair once again changed to black. The 5 aliens sniggered themselves as he flew at the downed warrior. You're just as weak as your father. It's no wonder he died so easily, Bojack exclaimed. Hearing that made Gohan angry, and because of his anger, he felt his power return to him. He instantly powered back up to Super Saiyan and charged Bojack, ready to make him pay for what he said. He cut the part off guard and sent him flying with a kick. The Saiyan had no time to celebrate his small victory because now he was dealing with the 4 henchmen. Gohan did his best to fight them all off, but it was proven to be too difficult considering there were 4 of them to fight. Realizing the bad situation, he let out another explosive wave, blowing all of his attacks away. I'm not going to give up, Gohan shouted as he flew at high speed towards the lead space pirate. Bojack saw his opponent coming a little too late, and thought he couldn't put up a good defense in time. The alien held his own for a little bit, but quickly found himself overrun by the onslaught. Seconds later, he was grabbed by the arm and thrown into the air. While airborne, he felt the nose of Saiyan charging up his energy, and because of that, he was caught in the swing blast. The space pirate may have been hit by the attack, but he was still alive, and when the smoke cleared, he made his foe aware of that fact. The Super Saiyan grit his teeth and flew at his foe. Right when he was within range to attack, he couldn't move. Out of the corner of his eye, he could see the other Galaxy soldiers, and he knew he had been trapped in the barrier again. He tried to move but could not, and the more he tried to escape, the more energy he lost. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't break free. He could tell his foes were enjoying his struggling. I have to think of something fast. If I don't break free, I'm done for. Every opponent had been watching the fight with awe. The fast-paced action was still aloft in the process. Any fights that happened in question weren't nearly as quick. Their awe was quickly replaced by fear, though. Once again, their friend had been trapped in a strange energy web. This isn't good. Gohan can't move, Spike shouted. Not a moment later, Gohan was being relentlessly assaulted by the lead space pirate. He's gonna die. We need to do something, Slime Package shouted. There's nothing we can do. We just need to wait, Princess Celestia stated. At this point, the opponents were getting a little tired of hearing that. While they knew the princess had their best interests, they also wanted to help their friend. Yet the princess wouldn't let them, so they kept their mouths shut. Well, except for one pony. Well, there must be something we can do, Rarity asked. Pinkie Pie smiled. We could get my party and blast them away? The Pinkie Pony shouted, then laughed maniacally. The prince shook her head. I'm sorry, Rarity and Pinkie Pie. We just need to be patient. He was getting harder and harder just to watch the Saiyan get beat up over and over again. But at this point, it seemed the only thing they could do is hope everything turns out alright. Hang in there, Gohan, Applejack said. Punch after punch was delivered to the captured Saiyan, and there was nothing he could do to defend himself. Gohan caught a lucky break when the lead alien fired a point-blank key blast at him, freeing him from his imprisonment. Unfortunately, the blast sent him crashing to the ground. He lay there in pain, all the while wondering how much longer he would last. His energy was dropping and his body was banged up, and his opponents weren't nearly as injured. He knew at this rate he would be finished. Meanwhile, Bojack slowly made his way over to his opponent. How pathetic. I guess you just aren't a challenge anymore. He smirked and placed his boot onto his opponent's head, applying pressure as he did so. The pain screams of his foe filled his eardrums, and the pirate couldn't help but chuckle at the pain it was causing. He then picked up the down Saiyan by his head and started punching him repeatedly in the face, making his already bloody face even bloodier. After a few good hits, he released his foe, only to knee him in the gut. The half-Saiyan fell to the ground in agony. I can't fight anymore, he panted, now barely able to move. The pain would only continue as his foe stomped on his back. Each stomp felt like a giant boulder falling on him, and it became more painful after each stomp. He was then picked up and thrown over to the other aliens. Said aliens merely gathered around the injured warrior. The master sure is enjoying this, Buchin noted, all the while looking over the battle warrior. It's just a shame the kid stopped fighting back, Gojo added. They all shook their heads in agreement. Maybe those opponents would be more of a challenge, the female pirate stated. Gohan had heard what she said, and he soon felt fire rage in his body. No! And spurred at the moment, he found the strength to turn back to Super Saiyan. With this newfound strength, he set his sights on the space pirates. He once again tried to take all of them on, but he just couldn't do it. Not even in rage. One side kick from Bito sent him straight into the lead alien. The Super Saiyan soon found himself trapped in a bear hug. Now then, give your father a message from me, Bojack remarked as he began squeezing his foe to death. Blood shot out the half-Saiyan's mouth as the grip was tightened. His screams could be heard all over Equestria. Well, mostly just pointing to Candelot. He tried to struggle to escape, but his foes showed no signs of letting go. He was trapped and couldn't hang up for much longer. In just a few short moments, he was going to pass out. The only thing he could think of was how he let both himself and Equestria down. Father! With one final word, he passed out. A few moments earlier, things went from bad to worse very quickly. It was bad enough when Gohan was just trapped, but then when he was freed it became worse. Whatever fight he had left in him was fading fast, especially when the lead alien just kept stubbing his back. Just when things looked their bleakest, the Saiyan had somehow returned to the fight, only to be caught once again by the aliens. This time, however, there was no getting out of it. Come on, Princess Celestia, we need to help him, Twilight shouted. Not a moment later, they could hear his horrible screams. And it was the most horrible scream they had ever heard. That was the sound at some point he was going to die. Flossie couldn't take it anymore, and she began crying harder than she ever did before. One of her best friends was going to die, and there was nothing she could do to help him. We can't let him die! The little pony screamed. Princess Celestia, please, Princess, I know we don't have the elements of harmony, but we need to do something, Upside added. Princess Celestia thought for a moment, and realized her subjects were right. There was no other option. You should either go try and help Gohan, or let him be killed and await slavery or death. She knew that their chances were slim, but that wouldn't stop her. She never gave up on one of her friends before, and she was going to start now. Alright, I can't take this anymore. She used her match and quickly teleported all of them to where the fight was happening. Bojack kept on grinning as he tightened his grip even further. At this point, he had pretty much already won, but he wanted to hear the snapping of bones. It was a satisfying noise, one of his favorites actually. In just a few short moments, his foe would be dead, and there would be no one left to oppose him. "Let him go, monster!" Princess Celestia shouted. The aliens looked over and noticed the points from before, causing him to grin like a madman. With a chuckle, he complied with her request, although it was mostly showed them what would happen to them. He dropped the Saiyan onto the ground, finding enjoyment in the gasps of his newest victim. He chuckled, then turned to devilish laughter. Every point stood firm, except for Fluttershy and Spike, who had quickly found a place to hide. The rest of the opponents glared at the monsters. They may not be able to do much, but that didn't matter. Despite facing down death itself, they weren't about to let one of their friends die. Gohan needed them and they were going to help. "If you would have died that badly, all you had to do was ask." Bojack fired an energy ball at the group of ponies. "Run!" Applejack shouted as the ponies scattered, just barely avoiding the huge explosion. Applejack ran for a few moments, but was quickly stopped with the festive alien. She barely had time to react as she was kicked inside the head, sending her skidding across the ground. Her body lay there, having been knocked out by the impact. Twilight flew towards Bojack, all the while charging up magic in her horn. Before she could even reach him, she got punched by the female pirate. The impact knocked her on the ground, making her cry in the process. "Take this, you ruffians!" Bird exclaimed as she used her magic to pick up a nearby rock and throw it at the lead alien. To her shock, the bullet broke apart on impact with the pirate. Her shock would only increase as she watched him vanish. She looked around frantically but couldn't find him. Mere seconds later, she found something touch the back of her neck, and instantly her entire body shut down. Pinkie grew her teeth as she took out her part again and fired a confetti at the evil meanie. Her attack didn't do anything except make him laugh. She figured maybe another lash would do the trick, but before she could even reach for it again, a hand grabbed her neck. Her eyes went wide as the alien threw her surfing at the horizon. "Alright, that's enough!" Ramdash flew over and began attacking Bojack with both speed and intensity. Try as she might though, she just couldn't land a blow. After one of her kicks missed, her foe moved out the way. Before she could try and find him, she was struck by the back of his hand, lodging her to the ground. Princess Celestia fired a beam at Bojack, but it didn't work. She tried once again, but still nothing. As the pirate walked over to her, the princess flew into the air, trying to put some distance between them. She looked back at the ground, but didn't see the pirate. The Alicorn didn't figure out where he had gone, but not in the way she wanted. She heard his evil laugh coming from behind, and she turned around in time to see his evil smirk. The next thing she knew, she was kicked in her face, making her crash to the ground, leaving her knocked out. Fluttershy looked over and saw all of her friends injured, and she felt very, very angry. Ray took over the shy mirror. She flew right to Bojack and gave him the stare. "Now look here, you meanie. You may be powerful, but you do not, I repeat, not hurt my friends. Just because you have power, that doesn't mean you can use it to hurt my friends. I want you to apologize right now, mister." In response, the space pirate laughed. Never before had he seen anything so foolish. He didn't give the Pegasus a quick jab to her gut, making her fall to the ground in pain. "Get up. The worst depend on you, Gohan." Gohan's eyes started to flutter open. He could have sworn he could see his father stand in front of him. "Father? Believe in yourself, son. Unleash your true power. It's the only way." Just like that, his father was gone. Yet Gohan felt revitalized, like his strength had returned to him somehow. Maybe he was seeing his father again, but he wasn't exactly sure. The young saint looked up and instantly gasped. He looked around and saw all of his friends down for the count, even Fluttershy. The rage inside of him was building up. He couldn't take any more of this. "You won't get away with this!" Gohan shouted as he unleashed his power, transforming into a Super Saiyan. He didn't stop there though, and the whole planet started shaking as his full power came forth. Harsh winds blew out in every direction, and the ground beneath him was ripped apart with ease. With one final shot, he tapped to his hidden power. The result was a huge burst of light, shrouding the entire Earth and area in it. After the light faded, Gohan was standing there, but he wasn't the same as before. His hair was standing up straight and his face conveyed pure anger. The golden aura around his body seemed all the more intense. Electricity emitted from his body much like electrical discharge, and waves of dust were blown out across the ground. He stood there for a few moments, letting the feeling of this transformation return to him. "You're finished!" Gohan shouted as he set his eyes on Bojack, ready to dish out some payback. I didn't really change much except I added some more to the fight. I also changed some of the dialogue and also added some more. It was kind of hard to add more to the fight, but I did to lengthen the chapter. Stay tuned for more updates and peace out. Future Shock.